Welcome to the Iron Gathering, a conversation with men for men, hosted by Pastor Fabian Radway. Now, let's join today's conversation already in progress.
If your throne is in jeopardy because of some mess you did, own it and fix it. Okay? Own it and fix it. I'm talking about especially when the mess that you did is known. Okay? Especially when it's known. Because some of the owning you have to do with people, some of the owning you need to do before God. Some of the stuff you don't need to go tell everybody what you did. You'll destroy the kingdom. Okay? They will remove you forcibly from the throne if you tell them what you did. Okay? You tell them what you're into. Some of that needs to be between you and God. But when the stuff you did directly impacted other people, you need to acknowledge it. I'm sorry, I was wrong. 5 words will save your throne. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Can I say it 2 more times? I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Those 5 words will save your throne. If your error or your shortcoming has messed up someone in the kingdom, someone on the team, someone on the family, I'm sorry, I was wrong, will help you to maintain your throne. But if it's not something that's known publicly, it's something that you and the Lord know you are not doing right, make that thing right with the Lord, fix it and go forward, and do not disqualify your own self from sitting on the throne. You're not worthy? None of us are worthy. Let me just be clear about that. None of us are worthy to sit on the throne. You ain't worthy to be next to that woman. You ain't worthy to father them beautiful kids God gave you. You're not worthy to have this company. You're not worthy to have this responsibility. Deacon and myself are not worthy to lead Iron Man. You know how many times, Deacon, how many times do we say, Lord, thank you for the privilege. Thank you for the honor. It is an honor for us to come and talk with you, brothers. It is an honor for us to break bread at the table with you guys when you come to our home. It is an honor, and we see it as an honor. We stay humble because we ain't got nothing to offer. It's the Lord. Okay? Stay humble. Thank you, Brother Charles, for sharing that. Any other thoughts on this before we move on? Conversation with men for men. I see Deacon Dennis has slipped in. It must be break time, so we got him for 15 minutes. So we gotta concentrate this. Give as much as we can before he gets out of here. Good morning, Deacon Dennis. You good?
Good morning. We're good, sir. Thank you.
Good. Can we get 20 minutes out of you, or we only get 15 today?
We might be able to squeeze it. We'll see what God does.
Okay. Here, let me ask a question here. What does it mean to King? We did this. Here's a question for conversation. Here's a question for conversation's sake. What are some thrones in life? Because we want this to be relevant. A thing is relevant when it's helpful, useful, necessary, and effective. Okay? If what we're saying is not helpful, if it's not useful, if it's not necessary, if it's not effective, it's not relevant. That's how you know when people are relevant. People talk, Brother Charles, everybody talk about the church is not relevant. Well, listen, if the church is helpful, if it's useful, if it's necessary, if it's effective and edifying, it's relevant. Okay? So if we say something to you that's helpful, useful, necessary, effective, it's relevant. We want to be relevant. And so part of our relevance here says, what are the thrones in life that we can be sitting on as kings? So it can trigger something in your mind that when we have this conversation, the Lord is talking to you about that. Okay? Brother Dahlman already talked about home life. That's the number one, especially if you're a married man. Kings in your home and in your family. Brother Charles has talked about that. He's in a new season of kingship where he's a senior father now. Okay? He's a senior father. And so the younger generation, multiple generations are now after him, honoring him as not only a king, but a high priest in his home. Okay? That's family. And some others. Give us some others. Y'all cheating. I got no. Oh, see, I put some of them up under there already. That's cheating. You ain't cheating. Y'all ain't doing no work. Give me some other areas, some other thrones in life on which we can sit as kings.
Well, the marketplace,
In the marketplace, okay. How so? You want to expound on that?
Wherever you're effective, you could be in a leadership position or just being a child of God, just being out there in the world amongst people.
Yeah.
You take ownership in leadership. Leadership is not just about somebody serving you, but you serving others. So how you serve, the way you serve, your character, all of that counts as kingship, I believe.
What I'm hearing you say, Deacon, is even in the neighborhood, even among your neighbors, in just conversation, the guys from around the neighborhood can say, you the king.
Right.
Why? Because of your conduct, because of your behavior. They're looking for you for counsel. They seeking you out for advice. They come to you when things are not right. Why? Because they see something on you. That's a throne. I didn't even think about that. It's not just in special places like the business and the career and the family and sports, arts and entertainment. No, how about just in the neighborhood? Just around the way, people will honor you and see you as king in those kind of capacities. That's excellent. Thank you, Deacon. Thank you. Anybody else?
I'm going to kind of pick up where Deacon Darrell said, but I'm kind of going to go back to the marketplace. When you are in the middle of pursuing where God wants you to be, so you are in the marketplace, but not in your specific area that you would like to be in, yet you still have to minister through that process because he's teaching you to where you're getting ready to go.
Okay. Okay. Absolutely. Any others? Any other contributions there? Anything else? All right, what are some of those areas? Like we said, in the community, home and family. And when we talk about community, we're just talking about just being a good neighbor. You don't have a title. You don't have a position. Home and family, being a king in business, in career and finances, dominating in terms of financial matters. Governance, perhaps some of you have political aspirations. Sports, arts and entertainment, media, niche environments. I alluded to that a little earlier, that sometimes you just have special niche. If you're an author, that's one that comes to my mind, and you can be king in that area. You can really dominate. You can really rule. You can really reign. You can really have privileges. You can have responsibilities. People can look to you and honor you in that particular capacity, in that niche environment. Niche is specialty environments. It's not just, it's a specialty environment. Everybody can't come in this environment. Everybody doesn't have the skills. Everybody doesn't have the talents. It's your thing. It's your territory. Okay. And you can be king. And if some of you have business, do businesses on the side. You can be king. Think Brother Charles, financial advisor. He can be a king in his environment, in real estate, in insurance. You can be king in that area if you know the principles. Okay. Any other thoughts on that before we move on? Some thrones. You got to see, you have to be able to identify what are the potential thrones in life on which you can sit as a king. Family is a big one. Work and finance is another one. Okay, and then there's all those specialty niche environments. All right, let's go on a little further.
Pastor, one other thing. We don't want to confuse kingship with ownership.
With ownership, you said?
Yes, with ownership. We don't own. We're managers of the environment and of the what the King of Kings has put in front of us.
Okay, say some more. Say some more. Say some more about that.
We don't own it, but we're responsible for letting it grow, nurturing, yielding, taking responsibility when we haven't done what we've been led to do. It's a huge role, okay? It's a fine balance between being a king and thinking we actually can rule as owners.
That's liberating for somebody right there. And I want you to get that. We've said it, we alluded to a little bit earlier. We're hearing us come back to it again. It's liberating. You are king, but you are functioning underneath a king. Okay? Your kingship is underneath a king. That should take some of the pressure off of you. You don't have to come up with every solution on your own. The success is not exclusively conditioned on your performance. Oh, we're saying something here, Deacon. Your success, the success of your and my throne, is not exclusively relegated to your performance. It is if you don't know God. It is if you don't, what we talked about earlier. There's three things. Grace that you get through righteousness that comes through Christ, so you can reign in life. If you come this way, the burden's not on you. If you don't come this way, it's all on you. Okay, how's that? If you don't want to come this way and let the Lord help you out, then the burden, the responsibility, the failures, figuring it all out, that's on you. But if you realize that you don't own this, but you are literally given responsibility to steward this, okay, how's that? Steward. You are a steward over your family. You're a king steward, a servant king. That's what you are. You're given the responsibility to govern, the responsibility to find solution, and the privileges, the honors that go along with it. But you don't own it. You don't own your wife. You don't own your children. You don't own that. You are a steward over it. Again, let's go back to Deacon and myself. The Iron Man is not mine and Deacon. Deacon, we own this. This is ours, man. This is ours. It's ours, man. And little from now, I'm gonna cut you out because it's gonna be mine. You know, I'm looking for any way I can get rid of you. You know, no, it's not. You can't do that kind of shystily. It's not ours. We are stewards over this. When I think about, we've been doing this now since 2021, roughly, we are about just over 50 different sessions where we've spoken into the lives of men. Come back and heard how that's been, how it's touched, how it's encouraged, how it's edified, how it's blessed. We can't be, look at what we've done. It's ours. No, we are stewards over it. It's the same way with your family. When you look at your kids and see how they've grown up, sometimes you look at your kids and you're wondering, my God, how did they become like this? Especially if they do well, because you're thinking, I don't have those gifts. Adalo, I don't have those talents. That's not how I do, but they're doing well. See, you stewarded them. You can't take credit for some of the good that's happening in their life. You can't take credit for directly, like I made them this, I made them that. You stewarded them. You did certain things that helped to aim them, helped to direct them. Thank you, Brother Charles. Ownership. Kingship is not necessarily ownership. Don't confuse the two. Thank you for sharing that. Responsibilities. I want to go to this one really quickly. What are the responsibilities of a king? For conversation, just throw it out. Throw it out and then we'll get into conversation with this. What are some of the responsibilities of a king? DJ, anybody? George, Rodney, Dennis?
Yeah, I would say, I think when we talk about just, what it means to be a king, and I think Brother Charles just kind of talked about this or spoke to this, like the difference between ownership and kingship. I think kingship is more about the being than the doing, right? Because you want to have that good character, right? That's what it's all about. And that character is intact. You know what I mean? Your responsibilities, that control, that privilege is already going to be stewarded well, right? So it's more about that being than it is the doing.
Okay.
The last part, that's how I look at it. So we talk about like what are the responsibilities of a king. I think it starts with character, like cultivating that character. That's the main responsibility is yourself. Because if you're not responsible for yourself and your own character and your own being, you're not going to be responsible with the doing and the actions that come after that. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, I like that. He says one of the first things you got to look at in terms of being king is responsibility for yourself, your own character, your own personal development, your own self. You can't rule nothing if you can't rule your own self. Let me say that again. You can't rule nothing if you can't rule your own self. And let me say it a third time. You can't rule nothing if you can't rule your own self. Kingship begins in this temple, in this palace, in this palace. You got to be king in this palace first. That's what he's saying. Character first. Character in the palace, in this palace. I love that. Thank you, DJ. Brother George.
Well, he probably said it better than I did, but I was going to say to be that example.
Beautiful.
For
No, say more, man. Just because I said beautiful, don't stop. Go on, roll, bro, roll.
part of being a leader is showing people what you do, how you do it, so they have actually something to aspire to if you're good at it.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. I think about coaches, coaching. You're a role model to those kids, especially if you're, what they call it back in the day when we were growing up in Connecticut, it was Pop Warner football, midget football. Okay. And the coach is everything to them little kids, but the coach has got to watch his behavior. If the coach curses and swears, them kids definitely, because coach cuss and swear, that's part of the game. We got to cuss and swear too. If coach is like, watch your mouth, and coach is all about character and behavior, and he behaves a certain way, them little kids will fall in line and follow. He's king. He's king of the gridiron, Brother Dallo. King of the gridiron. It's midget football in a little town, little podunk town. Nobody don't know where the town is, but he's king right there. The only thing you got to do is win. Okay, because if he lose, all of his subjects are gonna run. But he's got to get it's character, it's inside, it's role modeling, so they can see, give them something to aspire to, give them something to look at. That's why the neighbors come to you, because they're looking at something. They see something on you. They see the way you conduct yourself. They see the way that you behave yourself. They hear the sound of your voice. You king in the neighborhood. They may not actually say that, but you can sense it. You can feel it. You can see the way they behave, the way they come to you. Yeah, I like that. Thank you, gentlemen. You said it both well. That wasn't even in my notes. So that's iron sharpening iron. One speaks, the other answers. That's beautiful. Character inside. I'm surprised Brother Charles didn't jump in on that one. But that's inside. You're not gonna rule anything until you can rule the inside. I love it. I love it. Let me give you some. Anybody have some other things, some responsibilities of a king before we jump in to some of the things that I've seen?
Yeah.
See, I knew he was coming. I knew he was coming. It was just a matter of time. Here he is.
Praying for the people that you're ruling.
Okay.
I'm expecting to be led, expecting to be challenged, being setting an example, encouraging people in the kingdom, allowing punishment to happen when people violate the established laws of the kingdom.
Wow. Very good stuff. These are things. Again, we're coming from a Christ-centered perspective, and so the assumption is that if you're going to be king, you have maintained a connection with the Lord. You can't do this without me. That's what the Lord is saying. I've come to set you free from some of the pressure. Let me get in there. Let me get in here. Let me get in that. Let me talk to you. Let me give you some counsel. Let me give you some insight. Brother Charles alluded to that. He said, expect. You got to expect some insight from the Lord. Expect something from the Lord. Expect, I think what he said was revelation. Expect some insight. Expect the Lord to respond to your prayer. And whatever he says to do, do it. You're going to be a good king. You got to be obedient. You can't insist it's your way or the highway. If God's going to help you, you got to do it and go the way he's showing you, the way he's given to you. Okay? He talked about, correction. Well, his word was punishment. That's a strong word. Now, ain't nobody talking about beating nobody. But if things are out of order, you are responsible to set it in order. If people are out of order, you can't let them do whatever they're doing. Well, Dalman, you're a businessman. If things are wrong in the shop and you know who's doing it wrong, you need to address it because this is your dominion. And if you do not address what is out of order and the kingdom falls to pieces, the buck stops here because you're the king. Okay, punishment is a hard word. It's one of those words that in our environment is politically incorrect, but you need to correct things that are out of order. Set things in order. Responsibilities of the king. I love it. That right there is a pray for your people. Correct things that are out of order. Look and expect God to give you insight to help you to rule, to establish your throne. Just those three right there. Correct what's out of order. You see it's out of order, but you're so patient. You don't want to get involved. You don't want conflict. Conflict comes with the throne. Watch this. Confrontation comes with the throne. Anything you do not confront will not change. My Bishop Lafayette Scales is what he told me. Anything you do not confront will not change. And if you're sitting on the throne, you got to confront. Not nasty, not fight. Not curse, not cuss, not fight people, confront. And there's a way to confront, which Brother Charles says this is why you need to get before the Lord in prayer. So you can understand how to address your son, how to address your wife, how to address that employee, how to address these people that are following you, how. The how is almost as important as the why. Why? Because if you don't address it, the throne, the kingdom, everything is going to go to pot. It's going to fall apart. You got to correct. You got to set things in order that are out of order if you're going to be king. Okay, we're just doing, all we're having is a conversation. We're not following an outline. So if we throw in a little this out here, a little bit of that, and it's all over the place, you catch it. You catch what's relevant for you because this is a conversation. It's not a lecture. This ain't a lecture hall. Right now, we're talking, thank you, Brother Charles, about correcting things that are out of order in the kingdom. You can't know it's out of order and say nothing. You got to confront it because anything that is not confronted will not change. And if that thing needs to change or it's going to threaten your throne, if you don't change it, your throne is in danger. If you don't confront it, your throne is in danger. If you don't confront it, the kingdom is in danger. And that can be in your niche environment. It can be in your family. It can be in finances. It can be confrontation. Anybody else want to jump in on this? What are some of the responsibilities of the king, or you want to comment on some of the things that we've just said?
I just had one other thought, Pastor, is King needs to forgive himself when he's failed to act in an appropriate manner.
We have said this over and over. I'm not sure whether it's one of us that are right here right now, or it's some of the brothers who will listen to the podcast when we put this out as a podcast. I want you to hear it. We've said it several times in the last 30 minutes. Do not blame and beat up yourself when you fall short. You will. I have. I'm pretty sure I'm short right now. I'm pretty sure that if I go through my kingdom right now, there's an area I'm short in. Oh, y'all don't want to talk to me? Y'all don't want to give me no hand? My hand is up. That's all right. I'm speaking so that I might be refreshed. Thank you, Brother Charles. Thank you, Deacon. Put two hands up, Deacon. You need both hands up. Put both hands. Well, there you go. Preach. That looks better. I'm messing. Look, I'm messing with him. But for me, look, both of mine are up because I'm sure. And every so often, you need to assess your kingdom, Brother George. We need to assess our kingdom. We need to look. How am I doing in the king's domain? The king's domain, in the domain of marriage and family, how am I doing? In the domain of parenting, how am I doing? In the domain of finances, how am I doing? In my specialty, in my niche environment, how am I doing? You need to assess. And believe me, last night as I pulled this stuff together, I was looking at myself, brother Charles, looking at myself, brother Dollar. I was looking. Oh my goodness, how am I doing? How is the kingdom doing? You need to check, know the state of your kingdom. And when you find that you're falling short, you don't have much time to do the pity party. Feel bad for about 7 seconds. Take the next 7 to ask God to forgive you. And then spend the next hour trying to devise a plan to move forward, to confront it, to address it. And then spend the next season to fix it. You don't have time to blame yourself. That is a luxury. Crying and boo-hooing and woe is me and I failed. Oh, I'm terrible. That's a luxury. You don't have time for that. Kingdom is in danger. We're looking for you to lead. You don't have time to wallow. You're king. We're looking for solutions. Brother George, go ahead.
I guess one thing that I didn't hear is you have to listen. Because if you're not listening, you're not going to know everything that's going on.
Yeah. I'm just letting that linger. I'm just letting that linger. Hang on. Just let that linger for a while. Let's just let that hang in the air for just a moment. What he said. Listen. Woe is the king who does not listen. Brother George, you dropping fire today. You dropping fire. Mm-hmm. This is crucial. You can't know the state of affairs. You can't govern properly if you're not listening. And you have to listen to unspoken things.
You have to want to listen, because if you don't hear,
say it again, George. Say it again.
You have to want to listen, because I mean, you're the king, the leader. If you don't know what's going on, or you're not willing to accept what you're hearing, you can't fix it.
And watch this. Watch this. Some of the stuff that needs to be fixed, right here, me. And I don't want to hear you tell me what I'm doing wrong. I want to hear you tell me which way I ain't going the right way. I don't want to hear you tell me that I'm not saying it right, doing it right, not seeing properly. I can see. I got glasses on. I can see. I'm king. I can see. I got eyes. I can see. No, somebody's telling you, look again. What the little monkey in Lion King say? Look harder. Okay, you say, you ain't looking hard enough. But George says, you got to want to. If you are going to rule, you have to want to be your best self. I hear that inside of me. You have to want to be your best self. You have to want to be a good king. And if you want to be a good king, but George says, you got to want to listen. You got to want to hear what the subjects are saying. I hate to use the word subjects, the followers. You have to want to hear what's being said in the kingdom. If you're leading a team, you want to hear what the team is saying. If you're leading in the office, you want to hear, because it's about the people, not about you. Ooh, it's about the people, not about you. The throne has never really been ever about you. It's always about the people. Let me say that again. The throne has never really ever been about you. You may have some of the privileges. You may get some of the honor, stroking your ego, giving you the gifts, telling you how wonderful you are. But the throne is not about you. It's about the people. You got to want to hear what's on their heart. You got to want to hear how they are feeling, how they are seeing things. And a lot of this is in the home. I realize some of you are not married, but this is good. Preliminary teaching. This is good. You got to want to. Thank you, Brother George. There's something on that. You have to want to. I don't want to hear what they got to say. She's never on my side. She never says anything good. She's always critical of me. Listen. And here's the thing. He said listen. He didn't say hear. And he also didn't say comply. 3. Hear, listen, comply. We're teaching now. Get this down. Hear, listen, comply. Hearing is biological. That's the sound on your ears. And going into the mind, and it registers. What he, what she, what they are saying or communicating to you. That's hearing. Listening is when you interact with what you've heard. You interact with it mentally. Say mentally. Emotionally. Say emotionally. Spiritually. Say spiritually. You interact with it with your inner man. Your best listening is not right now. Your best listening is afterwards. Your best listening is when you take what you heard and you go in the car, fire up the engine and go drive, and you repeat over and over what you heard. And you're interacting, Brother Dallo. You ever done that? I've done that.
The Iron Gathering is a ministry of Powerhouse International Church. Listen or be part of the conversation at ironman1.org.